Nonetheless, Geno talked about Caitlin Clark again and sort of gave some backhanded compliments. Like he talked about how she connects to the audience, which was good. He talked about how she's tough, like Paige Beckers. He threw Paige in there as well.
The Geno Auriemma, the UConn coaching behemoth, goes crazy after Caitlin Clark rejects him, and it costs him millions of dollars. He originally dismissed Caitlin Clark, saying she didn't have the necessary skill set for the WNBA, but now she's turning Iowa into a basketball empire. Geno is left wondering how he lost the opportunity to be a part of history rather than merely a player, and it is a pain that no trophy can mend.
A lot of shit on the court, all right? Believe me. You know, when people talk about in WNBA, why are these people beating up Caitlin Clark? Because she talks a lot of shit on the court.
Rather than taking responsibility, Geno doubled down on a podcast, giving Clark a few clumsy compliments while disparaging her with cheap jabs. This is the kind of self-centered action that serves as a reminder that even legends can stumble.
Going out of his way to, first he's like saying she connects to people, and he could have left it at that, I guess. But he almost goes on to put the, reverse some of that discourse, try to put it in others' laps because of Caitlin Clark's trash.
In the meantime, Clark is living rent-free in Geno's head and changing history without UConn's or Geno's consent. The worst part is that Geno lost millions of dollars in revenue, respect, and reputation in addition to losing a player.
This kid, she's fearless. She just plays. She just is like a little kid in a driveway playing with her friends. Yeah, she's unique in that way. But in terms of what she's doing, people have short memories. Yeah, I've seen it before.
Auriemma went on to discuss what makes Clark truly stand out in today's basketball landscape, her fearlessness. He explained that, in this day and age, many players hesitate because they worry about the repercussions of a missed shot or a poor decision. Social media scrutiny, blame games, and unrelenting criticism have made many athletes cautious and afraid to take risks that might cost their team or tarnish their reputation. Auri also acknowledged her unique mindset and unquestionable skill. In a knowing tone, he was about to anoint Clark as the greatest player ever.
The beginning of the conversation.
The women's game. So if I think sometimes people get confused over the last 18 months, maybe over 2 years, that they think it was a rocket, that you all jumped on Caitlin Clark's back and went straight up. But you've been there at the beginning of the ride, so to speak.
Geno was unable to stop throwing. Geno Clark claims that Paige and Booers are similar in toughness. So let's not forget my star player when we discuss the person who didn't pick me, which is as subtle as a neon sign. Geno's greatest error was underestimating Clark's worth. However, Clark is a different breed. Auriemma highlighted that she plays just for the love of the game and doesn't overthink or allow fear of failure to creep in. Auriemma believes that this is a quality that is becoming less and less common in contemporary basketball.
And we send them up to the WNBA, and then they have something good to work with, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So it still comes back to those of us that are in charge of the game. Are we making the game better every day? Are we making our players better every day?
To top it all off, when asked about Caitlin Clark's incredible performances, Geno Auriemma responded to the question with a mix of admiration and realism. Yes, she's doing incredible things, he acknowledged, but let's not forget that I've seen this kind of greatness before. He recounted leading a squad that featured 2 freshmen and 2 players who had never started a game before. That squad didn't just compete, they won a national championship.
Geno Auriemma could be the reason why Caitlin Clark is definitely not joining the unrivaled 3-on-3 basketball league. We finna unpack it all right here.
Oh, Geno Auriemma, master coach, is a full-time expert at putting his foot in his mouth and a part-time businessman. Geno may be solely to blame for Caitlin Clark's complete disinterest in his new, unparalleled 3-on-3 basketball league. Let's keep in mind that this league was supposed to be a groundbreaking venture with big investors, big ambitions, and an even bigger January launch. Everyone was talking about it primarily because fans wanted to see Caitlin Clark, the college sensation, gracing its courts, but Clark isn't interested and is completely skipping this train, leaving Geno and the league scrambling for star power.
Chill, man. But That is not the case. Many people want Caitlin Clark to join this league to possibly, play basketball, be more entertainment for her. But now many Caitlin Clark fans took to Twitter to actually poke fun at Geno Auriemma. Let's pull up some of the tweets.
Now, why would Clark decline such a fantastic opportunity? Let's go back to Geno's most memorable publicity moment on the Dan Patrick. Geno insulted the biggest draw in women's basketball and her diehard supporters, calling Clark's fanbase foolish for daring to suggest she could dominate the WNBA. He went on to say that she lacked the physicality to succeed in the league. If that wasn't enough, he added some jabs about how foolish these fans were for hyping her as the next Diana Taurasi genius strategy.
She doesn't need to play for that whack job. She should just buy a rival league. Exactly. Kayla getting that type of bag. CC probably isn't this vindictive, but if it was me, if they wanted me outside, I'll demand a full retraction and apology from Geno for his comments on the Dan Patrick Show.
Twitter is a war zone of sarcasm and mock. Why would Caitlin play for someone who doesn't think she can handle contact? One fan asked, another chimed in with she should just buy the league and rename it Unrivaled Genius. Ouch, it doesn't help that Geno isn't just some distant consultant in this league, he's a part owner, and his involvement is now seen as a giant red flag. Clark's decision to avoid this league isn't just about saving her knees, it's a direct middle finger to Geno's commentary. She doesn't need his league, and she sure doesn't need to deal with the backlash of aligning with someone who downplayed her talent on a national stage. Meanwhile, the league is gearing up for a splashy launch in January, but without Clark, it's shaping up to be more of a belly flop. Geno probably thought he was untouchable, but now his words are coming back to haunt him in the form of empty seats and dwindling buzz for a guy who's so proud of his decades-long career. It's impressive how quickly he managed to tank his own credibility with just a few ill-timed comments. Remember when Geno took the stage on the Dan Patrick Show and went full scorched earth on Clark's fanbase? He called them delusional and stupid for daring to suggest she could dominate in the WNBA. Oh, and he didn't stop there. Geno decided to sprinkle in some expert analysis, claiming Clark didn't have the build for the league and would struggle with its physical demands. Sure, Geno, because insulting the most marketable star in women's basketball is a brilliant business move.
Caitlin has better things to do. Why does he want a player he doesn't think has the physicality?
To worsen the situation, the Unrivaled League is set to launch in January, and without Clark, it's looking more like unremarkable. Sure, they have some big names like Angel Ree, but let's not pretend she alone can carry the league. Fans wanted Caitlin, investors wanted Caitlin, and now without her, the league's future looks as sturdy as a house of cards in a windstorm. Geno's own words are being thrown back at him. He said Paige Buers, another rising star, would face similar difficulties in the WNBA.
And you're a great college player, like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP at a WNBA.
The golden child of college basketball, Caitlin Clark, has reportedly rejected Geno Auriemma's vision, or his entire league. Depending on who you ask, Geno's frustration isn't just about basketball. It's also about the millions he could have made if Clark had lived up to the ridiculous hype surrounding her. Before Clark even dribbled on a pro court, fans declared her the league's savior, and they had MVP odds. Naturally, Geno saw this as a fantastic chance to become the league's new face, receive countless endorsements, and, let's be honest, greatly enhance his personal brand. But reality had other ideas.
How do you think Clark is handling this?
I think she's handling great. I think she talks a lot of and she gets a lot of back. So she deserves everything she gets because she gives it as good as she gets.
It is now Geno's out here venting about delusional fans, hyping Clark to impossible levels. He claims the WNBA players are targeting her not just on the court but emotionally because of the disrespect they felt hearing she dominate them on day one. And let's not forget the hole not built for this little thing. Geno says Clark isn't quick enough or tough enough to handle WNBA physicality, which sounds like a nice way of saying she's making me look bad. Meanwhile, Goo's watching the millions tied to Clark's Rookie season vanished faster than her defenders can double-team her. The branding, the partnerships, the legacy building, it's all slipping away instead of celebrating her as the next Diana Taurasi. Geno's stuck explaining why the hype isn't his fault. And then there's Paige Beckers. She announced she's staying in college, and Geno couldn't hide his mix of pride and panic. Sure, he'll have her at UConn for another year, but he knows she'll face the same brutal reality when she finally enters the league. That's another potential hit to his bank account. The cherry on top, some genius labeled Clark the white Larry Bird, and Geno couldn't roll his eyes hard enough. He called out society's obsession with cheap comparisons, but didn't seem too upset when those comparisons benefited his narrative. Please remember to like, subscribe, and enable all notifications if you have watched this far and found the video entertaining.